So a few weeks ago, and there was only one of these purpley lilac flowers in this entire corner, I would absolutely swear that I recorded a nice little piece with amazing foresight to link to my future self, saying, and of course if we just magically cut to when there's a complete carpet of flowers. But I've gone through my hard drive and I can't find that anyway, so I can only find another bit of old footage from about a week later. But if I use that and then cut back to this, you get the idea. The point being that it is now out in force with this solid carpet of purpley lilac flowers. But the question is, what are they exactly? So in a previous video I tentatively identified it as a campanula rapunculoides, or creeping bellflower, but upon further research I'm fairly convinced that it's not. The main reason I've decided that is that if you look at photos of that on Wikipedia, then you'll see that the species has got very bell-like flowers, which would seem to be completely stating the obvious for the bellflower. But specifically, what I mean is that they're very pendulous, and if you look at these, they're not at all pendulous, they're more sort of upright and flat and star-shaped. So I did some more googling and digging until I found something I was satisfied was a better match, which is Campanula poscharskyana. No idea how you actually should say that, so let's just call it the Serbian bellflower. And if you again compare to photos of Wikipedia, you'll see that it's a much closer match, especially the little tippy bits coming out the top. And there's even a garden cultivar of that that's called Stella, which of course means star, so I'm pretty sure it's probably that. And it's kind of amusing to me that when I'm googling it, I'm finding all of these results, like when I google any other garden plant for, you know, $4.99, buy this thing from our garden centre, which, yeah, it kind of tickles me, because from my perspective it's kind of the textbook invasive weed. So Wikipedia's talking about gardeners carefully bringing it indoors for the winter. I'm quite the opposite. Don't water it, don't feed it, I certainly don't shelter it. In fact, kind of the opposite. When I put in the St John's wort over here, I hacked it right back so that it was only the bit of it that was against the wall. And you can see now that it's bounced right back. In fact, it's even creeping through the Peruvian lily. It's so vigorous. Might have to tame that back a bit. And it's so spready and vigorous and grows anywhere like a weed, that over here, this side, like, I don't even know where that's coming from, because as far as I know there's no flower bed down there, there's no soil, it's just steps. So it's literally just growing in the kind of leaf-full dirt pseudo soil that's mounted up in the corner. Amazing stuff, really. So within my garden it spreads like a weed, but actually the main reason I say it feels like a weed is because of how I observe it outside my garden, around the whole neighbourhood. It feels like it's in maybe 80% of gardens that I walk past, and the only ones that don't are the ones that are clearly very dedicated gardeners, whereas the gardens that clearly are completely neglected and the owners never lifted a finger tend to be absolutely packed with this stuff and almost nothing else, because it's clearly very vigorous and invasive and spreading. I'd love to illustrate these gardens that I see with sneakily filming them, but that feels quite rude to film people's gardens, so I've made do with this little bit of wall, because this technically isn't someone's house, it's a business, and it's a very closed for the pandemic business at the moment, so there's no one in there. I don't feel too guilty quickly filming it on my way to a supermarket. So overall, I can't help but be kind of amused at the thought that some bloke in like 1986 or something bought some of this plant thinking it was proper exotic and cared for it and fed it, and then here we are X years later and it's just colonised most of Bristol. So maybe I shouldn't really celebrate something that's so obviously invasive, but as you can see from all of this time that I've been rambling away, you've hopefully noticed that there's bees just going in and out of it all the time. So the way I look at it is that this stuff is like rice for bees. It's like their staple provision from my garden, and I can afford to plant a nice little sage here and a nice little something else for them over there, but what could I realistically afford that would create such an absolute curtain of flowers on unpromising bits of wall and non-flower beds? Just grows out of nowhere and gives me all of this bee food. So that's why I like it, even though it's clearly an invasive weed. I do hope that it is something like my analogy and it's not actually more like junk food for bees and they're eating, you know, turkey twizzlers or whatever in bee terms, because that would be bad. But then, like I say, if I stripped it all out, it would take more money and effort than I probably realistically have to be able to replace the sheer volume of flowers that it's providing at the moment. So there we go, that's my little ramble about Campanula poscharskyana and the bees. So I'll leave you with the bees. See what I mean about staple food? They just go from one to the other and it's just so many bees all day.